These three aren't flashy, they're not expensive, they don't come with wild promises. But for sleep, recovery, and metabolism, they might be the missing piece most people overlook. NAC, glycine, and taurine. This isn't influencer longevity, it's basic amino acid biology plugging into three big levers of aging: redox balance, mitochondrial function, and cellular stability. If you've ever felt like most supplements don't actually do anything, this video is for you. Because the real question isn't, are these anti-aging? It's, when do they actually help? If you want more evidence-first longevity breakdowns like this, hit like and subscribe. And check the description for Amazon links and our longevity compass book. Now let's start with the mental model. Think of this trio like a support crew. NAC helps supply cysteine, often the rate-limiting ingredient for making glutathione. Glycine is the quiet cofactor. It's part of glutathione, part of collagen, and part of sleep regulation. Taurine is a cellular stabilizer. It helps with calcium handling, mitochondrial function, bile acids, and cell hydration. None of these are magic, but together, they touch systems that age early and quietly. Let's talk about glutathione, without the detox nonsense. Glutathione isn't a cleanse, it's a buffer. It helps neutralize oxidative stress and keep cellular redox systems balanced. Your body makes it from glutamate, cysteine, and glycine. And as we age, especially under metabolic stress, those raw materials can become limiting. That's the logic behind GlyNAC. Not flood the body with antioxidants, but restore the ingredients your cells need to make their own. Now here's where the evidence actually gets interesting. There was a double-blind randomized controlled trial in older adults, ages 61 to 80, with overweight or obesity. They compared glycine plus NAC versus an isonitrogenous placebo. Dose mattered. This wasn't a sprinkle. They used 100 mg per kilogram per day of glycine and the same amount of NAC. For a 70 kg person, that's about 7 grams of each per day. After 16 weeks, the GlyNAC group showed improvements in glutathione levels, oxidative stress markers, mitochondrial fuel oxidation, inflammation and endothelial function, insulin resistance, and physical function measures. The placebo group did not. That's rare in aging research. Multiple systems moving at once. Here's an important nuance. They monitored labs. They stopped other supplements. They used verified capsules. This doesn't mean everyone should meds forever, but it does explain why GlyNAC feels different from just taking NAC. Because cysteine isn't the only bottleneck. Glycine matters too, so let's zoom in on glycine by itself, because it's quietly powerful. There's controlled human evidence that 3 grams of glycine before bed improves next day fatigue and alertness, especially under mild sleep restriction. Glycine isn't a sedative. It doesn't knock you out. It works more like this. It helps lower core body temperature, which tells your brain it's night. Think thermostat, not tranquilizer. That's why people often report better sleep quality without feeling drugged. There's also a structural angle. Collagen is built on glycine. Every third amino acid in collagen is glycine. Skin, tendons, joints, connective tissue, they all draw heavily from glycine pools. Now NAC. NAC is not a fringe supplement. It's used medically as an antidote for acetaminophen toxicity and as a mucolytic. That matters for credibility. Mechanistically, NAC provides cysteine and supports glutathione synthesis. But here's where people get it wrong. More antioxidants are not always better. Redox biology is about balance, not blanket suppression. There's evidence NAC helps most when baseline glutathione is low. In exercise studies, benefits often show up only in people starting deficient. That's why NAC works best as targeted support, not a forever pill. Stressful seasons, heavy training blocks, poor sleep phases, not take this daily for life. And yes, results are mixed in metabolic disease. A recent trial in fatty liver disease using NAC showed no meaningful improvement in liver fat over 8 weeks. Translation: NAC does not override the big levers like diet, movement, and sleep. Now let's talk about taurine, the most controversial one here. You've probably seen the headlines. Taurine declines with age. Taurine extends lifespan in animals. That study was real, and in animals, the effects were impressive. But here's the plot twist. More recent human analyses suggest taurine does not consistently decline with age. And major institutions have pushed back on taurine as a reliable aging biomarker. This matters because it keeps us honest. So here's the longevity compass take. Taurine is not proven to slow human aging, but human data does support taurine for cardiometabolic markers. Meta-analyses show improvements in blood pressure, lipids, and glycemic control, with variability. There's also evidence taurine supports exercise performance and recovery at doses around 1 to 3 grams per day. So taurine lives in the promising support category. Not miracle, not myth. Now let's talk about who this trio is actually for. Green flags. Older adults with metabolic slowdown. That's where GlyNAC showed the strongest effects. Sleep-stressed high performers. Glycine shines here. People under high oxidative stress or heavy training loads. That's where NAC may help most. And people with rising cardiometabolic risk. Taurine may support, but not replace, lifestyle changes. Now red flags. If you're on nitroglycerin or nitrate medications, NAC can amplify effects. If you're on anticoagulants, use caution, NAC may affect clotting. Pregnancy, breastfeeding, significant kidney or liver disease, talk to a clinician first. Now let's make this practical. Glycine, 3 grams, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Simple, cheap, usually well tolerated. NAC, 600 milligrams once or twice per day. Take with food if your stomach is sensitive. Consider cycling it, stressful seasons, not forever. GlyNAC, the clinical style version. High dose, more impact, requires tolerance. This is why people should start low and pay attention to how they feel. Taurine, 1 to 3 grams per day. Often split or taken pre-training. Safety data supports this range for most adults. Now let's talk stacks. For sleep and nervous system downshift, glycine is the anchor. Taurine can be added cautiously, but don't oversell it. For detox support, which we should really call antioxidant system support, NAC plus glycine to support glutathione availability. Your liver is not a Brita filter. It's a biochemical factory. For metabolic and mitochondrial support, GlyNAC is the centerpiece. Taurine is optional backup. One more thing that matters. NAC availability in the US has regulatory complexity because it was once approved as a drug. Availability may fluctuate. Choose reputable brands, and always prefer third-party tested supplements. Now for the controversy moment. Taurine was crowned an aging driver, then challenged. That's how science works. So we don't chase headlines. We follow human data, and right now, that data says this trio helps when used correctly. Not flashy, not magical, but quietly effective in the right context. Quick reminder, if this helped, like and subscribe, and check the description for tools, supplements, and our longevity compass book. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these are you most curious about? Sleep, recovery, or metabolic health? Because longevity isn't about hype. It's about fixing what quietly breaks first.